Welcome to week 6, Tuesday, Prob and Stats kids. I hope you guys are having a good Tuesday. Go ahead and pause the video and answer the following 3 questions. Keep in mind that today is week 6, so you should be on week 6 Tuesday. Week 9 Friday is in about 3 more weeks, and that is when your warm-up log is due. It is 300 points. You should have about 100 of the boxes filled out. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So looking at the specific angles I have marked with question marks, take a look over here. These are the answers. You start off with the 90-degree angles, which are the right angles. So, 20 and 70 makes a 90. A straight angle from ECH is going to be 180 degrees because it is a straight angle. And then if you look over here, the 20 and 20 are vertical angles as a review from geometry. And then, of course, a 70, 20, 90 makes 180, so they're supplementary angles. And lastly, that one is also a 90-degree angle. You guys had your textbook work from yesterday. It is 11.4, number 28 to 48 evens. Keep in mind that you can do this from week 6 Monday on the Google Doc. There's no textbook, but I do have a photo of the book on there. Make sure you are keeping this on the back of your homework template. When you guys turn in Unit 2 into the little folders, I will be checking this off, so make sure you have it tucked away in the back of your guided notes on the homework templates. Okay, so today we're going to talk about 11.4, which is on theoretical probability. It is on page 7 of your white guided notes. We're going to go over examples 7 and 8. We're also going to go over objective number 7 and number 8 on page 20. Then you guys have an online question card on coins, dice, card, bingo, and you're going to show your work on the handout. So for you guys doing this at home virtually, you don't really have the handout, but what you can do is you can just show your work on a piece of paper. It's actually a really easy template to kind of copy it down. I have a video on theoretical probability on a deck of cards. It's about 7 minutes. You don't need to type in this link right here. You just go to the Google Doc for today, and today it is for week 6 Tuesday on the Google Docs, and I have the links already there ready to go, so you just need to go ahead and click on it. Your homework tonight is going to be on 11.4, number 52 to 70 evens, and then you have an exit ticket, and there will be a quiz tomorrow, so keep that in mind on Wednesday. If you check your grade on Infinite Campus, you guys already have 4 grades inserted in there. You generally have 1 grade a week, so keep that in mind. And it has been updated. If you have any questions about the grades, you are welcome to email me at NataliaCallahan@washoschools with a S plural .net. I check my emails regularly. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is on page 7 of your notes. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Go ahead and read this. It's in regards to parents, the male and the female parent, passing on the genes of their child, the likelihood of their baby having cystic fibrosis. So I have 4 kids, and with each of my pregnancies, I always had to go through a genetic testing to see the likelihood if my husband has some kind of genetic disorder, or if I have some genetic disorder, what are the likelihood of that disorder passing down to our kids, once they're born. It's always kind of like a scary moment, but I feel like every parent has to kind of go through that to ensure that, the chances of something negative occurring to their child, to their pride and joy, is very, very small and very limited. So looking at this part right here, you have the first parent, And here you have the second parent. So the likelihood of their child carrying the cystic fibrosis gene is as follows. So what is the probability that their child will have cystic fibrosis? Well, they will have cystic fibrosis if they have one of the two. So if you look at this, there are a total of 4 possibilities. And here you're looking at for the little c, which is right there, because a little c represents a defective genes. So if you have 2 little c's, that means you're receiving 1 from the mom, and then also 1 is unfortunately passed down from the dad. So here you have 1 out of 4, which is a 25%. If you're not quite sure how we got the 25%, if you take your calculator, 1 divided by 4 give you 0.25. The way to convert decimals to percentage is that you move 2 decimal places over to the right, which will give you 25 dot, which is 25%. Okay. Next we have here is the empirical probability of an event is an estimate that event will happen based on how often that event occurs after collecting data or running an experiment, which includes a large number of trials. It is also based on specifically on direct observation or experiences. So P of E, and the parenthesis is called of, is the observed number of times E occur divided by the total number of observed occurrence. Example 8. Go ahead and read that silently to yourself. Okay, so if one person is randomly selected from the population described, find the probability to the nearest tenth that the person is going to be divorced. So remember, it is the number of people divorced divided by the total. Well, the number of people getting divorced total is 21.7. You're looking at the total because it has to include male and females. Not only women are getting divorced, men are getting divorced as well. So you have to include the total. So 21.7. Divided by, in which case it will be the total, which is the total of both male and female. So that's 212.5. If you go ahead and divide that, you will get 0.102 in decimals. So if you were to go ahead and convert that into a percent, 12, which will equal 10.2%. And that is a percentage of people getting divorced. I think actually nowadays is probably significantly higher. It's probably about 50%. All right, let's take a look at B. B says is female, okay? So with that, you are going to look at the chart again. So we're going to take a look at the total number of people that are female. So female total right here. So that's going to be 110.1 divided by the total number of people that was surveyed. And that would be 212.5. If I divide that, I am going to get a 0.518. You're going to convert the decimal to a percentage, which is 2 decimal spaces to the right, which is 51.8%. Now I want you guys to answer the following questions, okay? Just observing the chart, are more girls or guys are getting married? Go ahead and write that down. Which gender is getting divorced more often? Which gender has a higher percentage of being widowed? And which gender is more likely not to be married? Go ahead and pause the video if you need it to go ahead and answer the following questions. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to page 20, which is gonna be on objective 7 and 8. Let's go ahead and get started on objective 7. Go ahead and read the questions. Okay, it says a die is rolled, okay, and the set of equally like outcome of a die has 6 faces, so 1 to 6. So anything that you're gonna do has a total of 6 because there are only possibility of 6 sides. So what's the chances of you rolling a die and it lands on a 4? Well, there's only 1 4 on a die, so it's 1 out of 6. So I'm gonna divide that and put that into your calculator. Make sure you have it in a decimal, and then convert it over 2 spaces to the right into a percentage. B is going to be an odd number. So if I look at this, the odd numbers are 1, 3, 5. There are 3 of them out of 6. If I reduce my fraction and divide 3 on top and bottom, I'll get 1 over 2, which gives me 8.5 or 50%. Next one, a number that's less than 3. Less than 3 means it is not including 3. Okay, so what that means is you are going to use just 1 and 2 because those are the only 2 numbers smaller than 3. So that's 2 out of 6, which is reduced to 1 over 3, which is 0.33 repeating. And if I go ahead and convert it into a decimal, there is a 33.33% chance that I will roll a die and then get a number less than 3. D is a number greater than 7. Well, your die only has numbers up to 6, so that's going to be 0 out of 6, which is just a 0%. Okay, let's move on to objective number 8. Go ahead and read that. For A, it's asking you to look at the chart and find out the empirical probability. And remember, the empirical probability is whatever the question is asking divided by the total population. This number on top is always smaller, and the number over here on the bottom is generally always bigger. Okay, it should be that way anyways. So what are the probability of somebody being in the 25 to 34 age group? And I know you're like, well, why am I doing all of this, Callahan? Well, being able to read a data from a chart is critically important, especially if you're going to go into business, especially if you want to become a supervisor or anything in a managerial position. When I got my PhD, I had to write a 200-page paper and then publish that paper. And I had so many charts in there that it was ridiculous. I mean, I had to go by the APA format, and I had so many charts, like over 26 charts, that I had to call them and figure out how to label a 27th chart after I have already used tables A to Z because I wasn't quite sure. And so this is something that's really important for you guys to do, to learn in probability and statistics before you guys get out to the real world, whether it's going to school and continue your higher education, or if it is to pursue a job interest. So this is good practice. All right, so with that said, if you take a look at the 25 to 34 age group, that will be 3.8. That's what the question is asking. Now, what is the total population? Well, the total population of that age group is going to be 29.3. So I'm going to divide this, multiply by 100. So once you get this into a decimal, you can either move 2 spaces to the right, or you could take your calculator and times it by 100. Either way, it will give you a percentage. So in this case, it is actually 13%. Make sure you're not just copying this part down. Make sure you actually are trying to do this on your own, practicing with the calculator as well, so you know where all the buttons are. A woman in the 15 to 24 age group. So 15 to 24 age group, and it's a girl, is going to be 0.8 divide that by the total, which is going to be 29.3, and that is going to give you a 2.7%. C is male. So for male, it will be, and it's not specifically asking you for any age group, it's just all the guys. So that's 12.5 divided by the total, which is 29.3. And if I divide that, it's going to give me 0.427 or 42.7%. Okay, for D, it says a male in the 35 to 44 age group. So in that case, you will have 2.6 divided by the total, 29.3, which is going to give you 0.089 or 8.9%. So what they're saying is that 8.9% of the people surveyed are between the ages of 35 to 44, but they're also guys, which is less than 10%. All right, you guys, so let's go ahead and move on to the next part. So just grab an extra piece of paper, or maybe just maybe find an extra space somewhere. What I want you guys to do is you're just going to write down page 1, page 2, page 3. You have this tiny URL they're going to go ahead and go to. And it is essentially kind of like a bingo. You can go ahead and pick any quiz or any question that you would like. And then essentially what you're going to be doing is you are going to show the work on each of these boxes. And it's just going to be like a bingo. You can go diagonally down, you can go across, you can go down, however you want to do this. Any additional questions, I'll give you guys extra credit for. This is your exit ticket. It says something to chew on. Think about today's lesson. What gave you the most difficulty today? What do you think that was? Explain below. And as always, there are tons of resources online. So today we talked about theoretical probability. Or I'm sorry, empirical probability. And so if you need more assistance on this topic, you're welcome to go ahead and take that topic. And it's actually pretty simple to type this on YouTube. Empirical probability. And you can see here there are tons of results that you can go ahead and do that on. I'm also going to be posting this on the PowerPoint so that way you guys can see it as well. But I don't want you guys to type all of that in. I'm going to make this a lot smaller. Okay, so you should be able to see this. The topic today was on empirical probability. You can go ahead and type this in, and it will show you a wealth of videos on YouTube. And so if today's stuff did not make as much sense, or you need more clarifications, you're welcome to go ahead and do that. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.